So with the All-American Bowl going on, there's no shortage of excitement in high school football. And on a day like today, it makes perfect sense that Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide are getting massive wins on the recruiting trail, wins that we have got to break down and discuss. But we also need to talk about Alabama and the transfer portal because yesterday a name hit the transfer portal from Alabama that took some people by surprise, but a name that we have got to discuss nonetheless. Before we can, as always, y'all know the drill. I have got to hear from you. Hop down to the comments, give me a Y for yes or an N for no. Were you surprised that Roydell Williams entered the transfer portal yesterday? And let me know what you're thinking. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, hit that bell notification. I do constant college football content. You don't want to miss any of it. And if you enjoyed the content, be sure to like and comment down below. But having said all that, let's jump right into this. And first and foremost, we're going to start with Alabama and the transfer portal, where yesterday a key contributor to the 2023 Crimson Tide team entered his name into the portal, being running back Roydell Williams. And this came just a day after it was announced that he was going to forego the NFL draft and return to college for yet another season, though it seems that season won't be with Alabama. And Roydell Williams was a productive running back for Alabama this year. He had 111 carries, had 560 yards, 11 touchdowns, and averaged 5 yards per carry. So someone is going to get an incredibly talented running back, and personally, I hope this is one of those situations where Roydell Williams is able to go elsewhere and showcase how talented he is, showcase what he's able to do, and be the feature running back for an offense, because he has the ability to do so, and he's been a guy that's contributed to Alabama and done so for years. But we also need to understand that at Alabama, it's usually a running back by committee type of scenario, and there are some very talented young guys in the fold for the Crimson Tide. You're talking about Jam Miller, you're talking about Justice Haynes, but you're also talking about Richard Young, someone who I think is going to take the nation by surprise, because I think a lot of people have forgotten just how gifted Richard Young is. A former 5-star running back at a time was the #1 running back in his respective class. This is a guy that is uber talented, and I think he's just waiting to showcase that ability. So Roydell Williams entering the transfer portal is going to be interesting to see where he goes, because someone is going to get a very productive running back, a running back that's very talented, and a running back that is perfectly willing to do the little things that will see you get on a football field, such as blocking. So I'm very interested to see where Roydell Williams ends up, but as always, we wish him the best, and we will be rooting for him wherever he goes. But it wasn't all bad news for Alabama, because we fast forward to today and they are still getting big time wins on the recruiting trail. Speaking of running backs, how about a win for a top 300 player in all of high school football, one of the best running backs in the nation, Daniel Hill, out the state of Mississippi, an individual who is a legacy to Mississippi State but chooses the Crimson Tide nonetheless. And it's hard to argue with it. Whenever you talk about the running back position, it's hard not to peg Alabama as running back U. Just look at the production they have continued to uphold at the running back position. Look at the way they continue to recruit the position, with Daniel Hill now being added into Kevin Riley, 2 top running backs in the class of 2024. Alabama has got plenty of talent in that position, but it makes complete sense. Typically, whenever they can, Alabama will take 2 running backs per class. Kevin Riley was added in not too long ago, and now we see Daniel Hill also being added in, and it just upholds what Alabama typically likes to do, especially as they lost some names out of that room this year. They're making sure that they have got plenty of talent there. But that wasn't the only big win Alabama got. In fact, we now need to turn the tables and talk about the defensive side of the football, where they got a player I have been talking about for the past month, Xavier Meny from the state of Florida. And Xavier Meny is a top 75 player in the nation, regardless of position. He is a top 5 safety in the nation and a top 10 player in the state of Florida, a state absolutely loaded with talent year in, year out. And this is a big time addition for Alabama. One of the things we've talked about at length is that whenever we're talking about what Alabama is losing this year, that secondary probably has the most names that are going to be new next season. A lot of those guys hit to the NFL draft. But because of that, Alabama has been recruiting that position and recruiting it at an elite level, and the class of 2024 is certainly no exception. We talked about this on signing day with Kyle Henderson over on Bama Football on YouTube with Kyle Henderson. If you're not subscribed over there, I don't know what you're doing. Go ahead and do so after this video. Kyle does phenomenal work, and we are gracious enough that he allows us on that platform to continue talking about Alabama football. Nonetheless, Kyle and I, Coach Sean and I were talking about this Alabama secondary class and how special it is. And I think it's going under the radar. But Xavier Meny continues to add in to the point we were making a month ago, that Alabama's secondary hall has an argument to be among the best in the nation. Now you add in a top 5 safety in all of high school football, a top 75 player in all of high school football that has got a ton of versatility. Xavier Meny stands 6'2", 185 pounds, so he's got the range that college coaches are looking for at that defensive back position, and quite frankly, you just can't teach. But when you watch him play, he also has tons of athleticism. This is a guy that plays corner in high school and looks to project to being able to play anything. At college, it's just that 247 Sports has him pegged as a safety, and it's hard for me to disagree when I watch him play. This is a guy I sit back and say, you could do anything, but safety might be big for you because of your range, because of your physicality, because of all the things you do. I mean, so many times he's breaking on routes, and he's a very smart defensive back. Whenever you watch his film, he understands when he has help over top, and he will gamble. Something personally I like, because he's taking educated gambles. If he knows he has a safety over top and he's playing boundary corner, he might break on a route because he knows if I miss, I have help over top. Those are the type of educated gambles personally I love, and that's going to pay off. So very excited about this edition, very excited about both these editions, and it really just underscores what we continually talk about as it relates to Alabama. That yes, they might lose talent to the transfer portal, but it's Nick Saban. And it's the Alabama Crimson Tide. They're going to get their pickings out the transfer portal, and in recruiting, that machine isn't slowing down anytime soon. Though so many people think it is, here we sit with Alabama getting even more elite high school talent, and I can't wait to hear from all of you. Let me know what you think about Alabama as it relates to the transfer portal. Let me know what you think about the newest running back, Daniel Hill, and the newest addition to this elite secondary hall, Xavier Meny. That's it. See ya.